Alright, so to start out, got my blaze built on here. I'm going to, I grind everything pretty much by eye. So I'm going to come in to about where my plunge cut will start, which is about right here. And I'm going to plunge in, start setting the beveling. Now since I've already hammered in the beveling, it's already set. For the most part it looks relatively in center, but I'm going to try and keep a constant watch on where the center of this edge is and make sure that my edge doesn't get offset either way as I'm grinding the blade. I'm just slowly walking this beveling up towards the spine. The beauty with having these bevels left forged in is they're already set and I don't really have to worry about the angle. And there we go. Got flats and beveling rough ground on one side, and we'll work on grinding in the other side here shortly. Looking down the edge, it looks like things are relatively centered still, so we'll try and maintain that as we grind the other side. You'll notice that my edge thickness does vary, but that'll be adjusted in some of the finer grits as I plunge in more and thin this edge out. Alrighty, so there's a roughed in beveling in this side. I actually got it a little bit deeper. The edge is slightly offset this way, so I'm going to pull a little bit more material off of this side and get that edge back centered and get the plunges with equal depth. Alrighty folks, well, I've taken the knife through all the rough grinding stages and actually put a really dirty and coarse hand sanded finish on it at the moment. Got all the dimensions of the knife down to pretty close to final dimensions. Got the plunge cuts nice and even. Flats of the blade and the bevels are nice and flat. Spine's perpendicular. All the edges are nice and parallel on the ricassos. So next step here is to go ahead and put in this clip. And the best way I've found to do this is strictly by hand with the file. I actually draw file in all of my clips when I do them, just because I find it gives much better control and I can really find consistency and make really fine adjustments as I'm draw filing. So going to go ahead and take this over to the vise and grab a file and get started on those. Alrighty, I've got my knife in the vise. I got my file here. Got a little bit of chalk rubbed into it to help keep it from clogging up as badly. Draw filing, you hold the tang of the file in your left hand and draw the file towards you. It'll cut on the drawing stroke. So I've made a little line on the spine of my knife just for reference, so that I know generally where to stop the clip there. And I'm just going to start cutting in at an angle, and we'll cut the clip. There's the clip so far. And one final thing I'll do before heat treatment is true up the shoulders of the knife, get those nice and flat. That way, after hardening the blade, I won't have trouble doing that. So I've got the blade in my file guide and clamped in the vise, and I'm just going to go ahead and true up those shoulders and get those nice and square, and then it'll be ready for heat treatment. And there we go. Alrighty, here is the finished roughed knife, ready for heat treatment. Got the clip filed in and a rough sanding on it. Have the blade all ground and rough sanded to shape. Have the corners of the shoulders of the blade squared off with a file guide. So the next step will be to heat this blade up and apply some anti-scaling compound and proceed with heat treatment.